Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3:07 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois, and it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, October 8th. It's marathon weekend, and for today, I'm going to just jump right in today because we got a special guest here in the house. Let me switch my camera over. We've got, let's see, there he is. Dr. Josh.
I'm in the house.
He's in the house today. All right, everybody. I know I'm in a different spot. This isn't our normal house, my normal house. So like, the Wi-Fi is going to be jumping back and forth.
It's someone else's house.
We're going to do it. We're not. We're just in the ground floor of my apartment building. So, the Wi-Fi is not super great, but hopefully the audio's sounding okay. You guys are having a hard time with the audio in the chat. All right. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm jumping around all the cameras, so it's kind of going back and forth. Hopefully that's not messing too many things up, but I know everyone wants to hear from you and how you're
feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Came in today this morning.
Okay. Woke up super early.
Yeah.
Got here around noon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are you staying?
The Allegro.
Okay.
Sonesta. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good hotel.
Yeah.
Very close to the start line.
Yep. That's why I chose it. Yeah. A little walk.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, how are the legs feeling?
Pretty good. Taper's getting to me a little bit in terms of like feeling anxious.
Yeah.
And the sweaty. And
Yeah.
Sleeping and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. We got runtime here. Where'd it go? It's not catching. I'm having a hard time. But runtime is saying, yeah, my favorite. So fans over here in the chat today.
I like to call my fans fans.
Awesome. So, tell me about you're in the American Development Program.
Yep.
For the race.
Yep.
People don't know.
So it's been I've signed for 2 years. I canceled last year. I remember take 300 spots and to have a time standard. There's 2 time standards. There's one that's the first half where it's not pay to play.
All right, there we go.
We back.
We're back, guys. So sorry about that so much. We switched to going off my phone, so hopefully that's gonna be a little bit more stable. So I'm really sorry about that. You were talking about the American Development Program.
Yes. So the American Development Program, they accept 300 runners, and there's 2 fields within the American Development Program based on time standard. I don't remember the times off the top of my head. I believe like one time standard is like sub 225 or 226 or something like that, and the other one is sub 230, 232. The first half you don't have to pay to get in. The second half you do have to pay. So I'm in the pay to play zone because of my last marathon. I bonked pretty bad the second half. But yeah, you start at the same time as the pros do. So this corral behind them, and there were certain instructions to not interfere with the camera crew because there may be a point where we catch up to the elite women or vice versa.
Okay.
And they're like, if you're drafting or blocking the camera from, I guess it's CBS or NBC cameras, that is grounds for disqualification. So
really?
Yeah. So we're joking around with some friends that I know they're gonna be in it. Yeah.
Well, I remember. Do you remember? Did you ever watch Ben Barrows?
Yeah.
So remember when he was in the Houston Marathon and like people were like, "Oh, look at this guy trying to get his like 2 minutes of fame," and then Ben was like, I don't know. I was just holding on to the pack. I was running into the pack.
Yeah.
If you did that for Chicago, you would get disqualified?
It's just grounds for disqualification. Yeah. We got this long email that says all these like rules. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But with that, you do get like elite bottles.
I knew you were gonna ask that. We don't actually.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the other American development section?
I don't think so either.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So then, can you tell me about the nutrition plan?
Yeah. So I am going to take some Morton. I'm going to take one gel 15, 20 minutes prior.
Okay.
And then mile 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25, I plan on taking gels with 2 of those gels, depending on how I feel, being Martin Gel 100 calf 100. And I'm planning on taking water at every water stop as possible. And,
Okay.
Yeah, probably
That's
not
a lot.
Gatorade.
It's every 2 miles.
Yeah. But like when you're juggling,
Yeah.
the one, you're probably only drinking like 2 or 3 ounces.
Yeah. Okay.
And getting all over the place.
Are you concerned about salt? Because I think it's gonna be hot this weekend.
Yeah, I'm concerned a little bit. But
Because the Martins have like 0 sodium.
yeah, I heard though there may be ice on the course. So there's the advantages of trying to mitigate heat by putting that ice around your neck, down your shirt,
Yeah.
eating it.
Yeah. Any thoughts on going with the Galen Rupp hat technique from Tokyo, putting a bunch of ice in it and then stick it on top?
That's actually a good idea. Yeah.
I was thinking it's almost bucket hat weather here.
Yeah.
So like I think it would be interesting to see what people are going to do to try and stay cool.
But I did get this haircut to stay cool. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be wearing a hat.
No hat?
No hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so shoes for the weekend?
I have decided actually. I only packed one.
I know you didn't pack both?
I didn't pack both.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like firm. I mean, you're point of no return then.
Yeah. So I'm throwing my fam a curveball.
Neither of the one that you were talking about?
No. It's gonna be the one that you think that I probably wasn't gonna wear, but I'm actually gonna wear the Alpha Fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you've been doing a lot of workouts in those.
I have. I was thinking about that. Like every big long marathon workout, I've been doing workouts in the Alpha Fly, and I was like, you know what? I'm hitting good paces in them. I'm not struggling. It is an older pair, but the Eliud Kipchoge version is the one I have a little bit newer.
I'm going to turn on our mics a little bit. We're getting some feedback that the audio is bad. Teeter Totter saying, sound is so bad, so distorted. Sorry about that, guys. But Albert Wu was saying the video is much more crisp. So I think it's going to be we're going to get one of 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. I think the other part about it is this software has like audio adjusting that it does, that processes, because I think it's so used to like most people are just using like whatever mics are on their laptops, so it's just
I know you got an elaborate setup here.
It's been tough. CV76 coming with the super chat saying post race beers on him, so $10 for the super chat. So
sweet.
So you'll be done way before me, but if you're still around, I think maybe you'll have time to cool down. Go back to your hotel, shower, meet me in the Abbott 27-2. I'll get you a beer, or I'll get you a beer.
I'm probably just going to chill in my heat blanket on the floor in the park.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Stevie. All right. I think the thing that I like about the Alpha Fly is that I think it keeps me at marathon pace a little bit better. I have a tendency to get really excited. I get just caught up. In the race really easily, and I feel like the Alpha Fly, not that the Alpha Fly is a slower shoe, but I think it just is happier when you're at your marathon effort. So for me, it's like if I'm running a little bit faster than that, the Alpha Fly is like, it might be better if we took it a little easier.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm in the sweet spot on it, and so that's what I like about that shoe. So I think I always think it's a good choice, but it's a flat, fast course here, so so I think it'll work. Now, I started finding your videos when you were building up for Chicago. I think that was 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
What happened there?
Well, obviously Chicago got canceled. So I don't know.
Not in 2019 though. Wasn't it?
No, it was 2020. It was the beginning of
2020. Okay. Was that with the videos that I was watching?
I think so. Yeah, because I ran CIM December of 2019. I was like, I want to sign up for a major marathon. In the fall, and so Chicago was on deck.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I put out like 6 vlogs or something.
Yeah,
and it got canceled.
Those. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I'm just trying to. I couldn't remember what the dates were. I didn't look at the dates on those. I was looking back at those. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to that? There's a build up here. There's like 6 videos, and then it just stops. And there's like, I was looking at your Instagram. I'm like, there was nothing about a race or pulling out of there. Yeah. What happened? I couldn't remember how. Okay. Yeah. Oh, everything canceled. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So this is your first Chicago then.
First Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard it's flat and fast.
It is flat and fast, but like it's, I was listening to Strength Running podcast today that Jason Fitzgerald and Peter Bromka were on there. They were talking about Boston, and he was like, Bromka was like, it looks flat on the map, but it's rolling, and that's kind of, I wouldn't say that about Chicago at all, but there are man-made like speed bumps. So like there are turns. And then there are like bridges and stuff that you'll go over. They changed the course a little bit a few years ago, and so there's an extra bridge that we go over. So and that's like around right before you get to Chinatown, I think. So like around 19 or 18. So it's nothing huge, but I was just like, I remember the first year they changed it. I was like, I don't remember this. This is like twice the hills as before. So
Oh, no.
but all right.
Yeah.
Any time goals or?
So we know that the conditions on Sunday are not going to be entirely favorable.
Yeah.
Yellow zone, whatever that means.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little on the hotter side, out of ideal body temp or weather for marathon running. So I mean, there's no TQ standard out.
I know, yeah.
And I do want to run and get into the elite field at the USATF half champs in December.
Okay.
And their standard, they don't have a marathon standard, but they're open to discretion. You just
Okay.
But 108 half, and then equivalent of a 108 half is a 222.30.
Okay.
But given the conditions, I'm gonna see how I feel and stuff like that. It's 5:25 per mile, so go out conservative the first half, and then try to run the second half negative.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Because that was the big question for me. I'm like, with no like OTQ numbers, or it's not even a window. So even if you knew the numbers, it wouldn't matter because it wouldn't count yet,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, how are people that are at your level, like figuring out like how do you attack these races? Is it just like, I want to go out there and just stick with the packs and fight it out, or like try to get a good time for the weather kind of thing? Like
Yeah.
how is like the goal setting been?
it's been pretty good. Got my head in the game, getting pumped up. Obviously, been training for a long time for this race in particular, probably the last 6 months, building up to it and stuff like that. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Yeah, yeah,
Cool. You've been training now in Boulder,
yeah.
right?
Back and forth between Boulder and Oregon. The last like 2 or 3 months, just how my job is right
Okay.
now. Yeah, back and forth.
Oh, they have you going back and forth between?
So the thing is that there's one company out in Oregon that I do some work with. There's Boulder, where I'm trying to start my own thing.
Okay.
A little slow here. Went out there.
Okay.
Saved up some money, came back here, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. Frank's got a question for you. It says, Dr. Josh, should a guy who thought they would be in the 315 group after his tune-up half 2 weeks ago revise it down to 310 right before the race? What do you think?
Lower it to 310?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. What was the halftime?
He said he did it after the tune-up 2 weeks ago. They were like, maybe I should be in the 315 group. I think
back.
He's talking about me. Should I be in the 310?
Yeah. Go big, go home.
Yeah. Well, so I just like my thoughts on that. I mean, the way I handle the taper is my brain just starts going crazy.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning like the other day, like if I had like another week of taper, I'd be like, I don't know, I think I could get 255. I think I can get like it would just keep getting like, I don't know, maybe I could just will my way through it. So that's why I always like, I need to be more conservative. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one.
Yeah.
But I think everyone wants me to like go big for it. So do you have any of that with you, or you more just like, I don't even hear that because I know where I'm at?
A little bit. I mean, I feel like my coach or people that I know, the biggest thing in the marathon's not blowing up. If you're gonna blow up, have a good blow up.
Yeah. Okay.
not a bad one, but
Yeah.
like they say, the marathon doesn't owe you anything. There's no forgiveness in the marathon.
Right.
It's all about like, you've done the training to get to that point, and you know what kind of fitness you're in. You don't want to go out there and just do something that you're not used to, or have a blow up. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Quick question from Steven C. 1984. How old is Dr. Josh?
Let's play a guessing game.
Well,
What does the chat say?
there haven't been any answers yet because he in parentheses says if anyone knows, please shout up. But I haven't heard any answers yet. So, I don't know. I would put you in your mid-20s.
Yeah, I'm actually 31.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had like high school kids come up to me and be like, "What college you go to?" And I'm like, "Bro, I graduated college almost 10 years ago." Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I guess that's good when I'm like 50 or I look like I'm 30 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It was tough. I mean, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Too. Not that people think that I'm in college by any means. I think my racing stripes, my gray hairs, kind of give that away. But growing up, it sucked because you're always like, "No, man, I swear I'm old enough to drive, or I'm old enough to get into this bar," and it'd be like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "No, seriously, this one is real. This is my actual ID. Like, I should be able to come in." And they're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Dude, let me in." So I've been dealing with that for a long time. Did you have to deal with any of that?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
When did the mustache come into play?
Since the day I was born.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I feel like the mustache probably gets you around a lot of those hurdles.
Yeah.
Like when people are trying to figure out how old you are when you're young.
Yeah, and the beard too. I shaved the beard to become more aerodynamic for this weekend.
Yeah.
It's like equivalent to like getting your nails did and stuff like that. And just shaving down to the mustache and getting the haircut and looking fresh. But
yeah. Well, I feel like women have the battle braids that they can get ready.
Yeah.
For their races, which I think is awesome. Is getting like the hockey player like mullet like the only thing that men have, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Or pretend I'm like the meme with Wolverine. He's holding the picture. You know what I'm talking about? And he's like caressing it. And there's a picture of Craig Engels. And that.
I've never seen that before.
No.
I'm gonna have to see that. That's awesome. Nifty Ninja says that he was gonna say that your age was 32. Sign Undone Ramasetti said 31. But I think that these guesses came in after we started talking about your actual age. So, but that those are guesses. Those are real good guesses.
Yeah.
Nifty Ninja says if I also did the the different kind of haircut, I'd be more aerodynamic. That's really bad. And Suen is saying, "Ooh, battle braids." She wants to get some battle braids in here. I don't think that would work. I don't think my hair's long enough for braids, but I don't think that would. I think that would look very strange.
Yeah.
To see a dude like running a marathon and like two braids in a ponytail. Like it looks great on like I see like Beth Potter running. I see like Lucy Charles Barkley. I see like Steeple Squigs. They've got the battle braids. It looks great, but I'm like that doesn't transfer over.
Yeah.
I don't think.
You could do just like one or two and look like a Jedi.
I think I need longer hair for that.
Yeah.
For Sunday, what are you thinking for carrying all your nutrition? Because if you're not going to get bottles, like how are you going to handle?
So I got a pair of shorts.
You said you were going to do 6 gels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total. I got a pair of shorts that has 4 pockets, 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Okay.
So I have in the past. I haven't decided if I want to wear arm warmers yet.
Okay.
It's a little warm.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll tuck old school Spider-Man style underneath the forearm here and here.
Okay.
Yeah. I did that for Jacksonville. Because I believe those shorts that year did not have 4 pockets, only had 2. So I had to take the other 2 and put them in my arm sleeves.
Okay.
And then maybe hold one. I may even start with a bottle actually.
Mm-hmm.
A small marathon bottle I'll just chuck. Hopefully not get in trouble for littering. And put some tape on there and tape another gel to it. Maybe 7 gels for emergencies.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people starting with the water bottle,
Yeah.
like to like either like a speed flask or like a thinner water bottle, and like deciding to go that way. And I'm like very tempted by it because it sounds great. Because then it's like, well, you're getting all your hydration early on when all the aid stations are going to be still really jam packed.
That's true.
But then also like you're just able to like load up on liquids when you're still like trying to keep calm, trying to keep things a little bit more comfortable. So it makes a lot of sense to me. But I'm like, I'm already holding stuff, so I'm like, I can't be holding more stuff. I'll look even more ridiculous than I normally do. But yeah, I do like the carrying the bottle thing. For For your shorts, are your shorts half tights or split? Are you team half tights or team split shorts?
Team split shorts.
Yeah. So you have a pair of pockets that are split shorts that have a pair of shorts that have 4 pockets that are split shorts.
Yeah. 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Unheard of. They don't but the gels in there don't just flop around.
No.
I feel like if the shorts are real billowy, then that's what happens.
No, I think they're made from Morton's, to tell you the honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they the District Vision shorts?
No, they're a pair of Nike shorts, but Aero Swifts. But the pockets just seem narrow, and the Martins fit in there.
Okay.
Pretty good, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And you still think you're gonna go with arm sleeves, even though it's gonna be super? I mean, I guess you would know because you raced in
I did that in Jackson.
Yeah, you've done it in super humid conditions.
Yeah.
Some people say that when you have those on, it helps to dissipate the evaporative. If you're staying wet, because it kind of stays wet a little bit or damp, it helps with the evaporative cooling. Is that what you're thinking, or you like it, or what?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna refresh my heat mitigation stuff.
Yeah.
probably tonight or tomorrow.
Googling stuff on or searching stuff on Runner's World.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you're running with, at that level that you're at? There's not a ton of people, so I'm guessing you guys all know each other.
Yeah.
Is there a group chat?
Yeah. Or I mean, everyone kind of knows each other. I feel in the running world, and what kind of times they run. So it's you don't even call them by their name, or maybe you kind of an acquaintance with them. It's there's the 219 guy, or there's
really? Yeah, everyone's known by their numbers.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, there's going to be a handful. I'm sure there's going to be a handful of those going under 220 or 222. I may hope he's not watching this, but I may try to stay with my coach, and his friend Kurt, my friend too. We all went to Florida, but. Matt, my coach, is a 219 marathoner, so he's very good at the marathon, and I don't know, maybe hang on to the back of that pain train.
Why wouldn't you want him to know about that?
Because he's Josh, you should go out a little more conservative.
Oh, okay, okay, because he told you not to.
Yeah.
He was you can't keep up, stay away. I mean, I guess that's one way to assert dominance as the coach, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean. I'm sure you've seen me race enough where I have either blow-ups or seen me enough in workouts where I can negative split pretty well. And it's okay, you just got to do the same thing you did today on the day that it matters, Yeah. So.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about, your, the coaching style in terms of, what the workouts are like for you? If you can kind of paint a broader brush, is it more cumulative fatigue, higher mileage? Is it more Can you talk about that a little bit?
So it's more time-based training.
Okay.
I don't look at miles. I'm sure people will go crazy when they see my Strava, and it's 3.92 miles. And I go really slow. A lot of my easy runs are 8 minute, 7:30. That's probably one of the biggest things from me being my age now and all I've been through and being in high school is really focus on taking my training easy when it needs to be easy. I've become a really big heart rate guy beginning of this year to make sure I'm in the right zone. That's not a thing from the coaching perspective, but he kind of was okay, let's do it that way if it keeps you from jumping off a bridge and within. And we have some guys that we train with out in Boulder that use stride pods. Yeah. Instead of I'm the only heart rate guy. I feel as a form of what intensity you're doing. A lot of the intervals that we do, I barely touch VO2 max stuff. No VO2 max, maybe 3 times an entire training cycle. Tops of 3K, 5K pace. Everything is basically time-based efforts. So 3-minute intervals, 5-minute intervals, 2 by 10-minute intervals and stuff like that. Again, not distance-based. And then kind of me being a heart rate guy, I kind of tailored to taken from Jack Daniels and stuff. I've had experience with Jack Daniels and Canova off the top of my head that if I know if my heart rate gets this low and I know I'm within this zone of heart rate reserve, if I can recover to 60-65% by the time I start my next rep for a tempo workout, then I'm probably doing the workout right kind of thing. So I've been very sciencey and trying to make sure I'm executing the workouts right. There necessarily isn't cumulative fatigue. My mileage is kind of pretty low, I guess, for a marathoner. I've only peaked once at 90 for this block, and most of my training week has been from 75 to 85 these past 2 months. But not necessarily cumulative fatigue. A lot of doubles. I was doubling 4 to 5 days a week the last like 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
During track season, I was only doubling twice. So we're gradually building up the volume for the fall season, which if you're a distance runner out on the roads a lot, you're going to be doing probably 10K and up, half marathons occasionally. And I really race once every 4 to 6 weeks or so. So
Okay.
I don't go too crazy with the racing.
Okay.
It does a big toll on the body and also interferes with the training curriculum.
Right.
Because you have to recover from that first, then you have to stress the body again. Yeah.
Right.
So it's, I don't know. It's very controlled and
Yeah.
time-based is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
well,
It's
when
working
you're,
for me.
when you're
Yeah.
if you're not doing frequent VO2 max, is a lot of that other stuff that you're doing, the intervals, 2, 3, 10 minutes, whatever the intervals are, is that at more of a threshold?
Threshold, yeah. So I believe in like the law of specificity. If you're gonna, as you get closer to your goal peak race, Arthur Lydiard, I believe, style, Keith Livingstone too, his protege, you need to get more specific to that event. Since I'm probably not going to be racing anything under 10K for the most part, unless it's track season, most of my training is going to be threshold and marathonish effort.
How much time are you spending at marathon paces during like a given, I guess, as you're nearing kind of the peak of your training block?
A little bit more than usual, but I'm not very good at that. It's something to work on.
Okay.
Some like this past couple of weeks, it's like, all right, you're gonna do this 20-minute tempo where I want you the first 1 or 2 miles at marathon effort.
Okay.
And so I have my heart rate strap, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep my heart rate out of tempo heart rate, so I'll be hovering a little bit below, because technically that will be like my marathon effort and a combination of effort. But the problem is that I get up too high or I get out too hot, and I'll get into that zone sooner than I probably should. So
Okay.
like when Matt is like, all right, I want you to go on a marathon pace, so I end up going out like in 5:18 instead of 5:25 or 5:14, or like within a couple seconds of the start of my threshold zone kind of thing. So not too much,
Okay.
but we'll see what happens someday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not worried. All
All right. Steve Zabrowski says, okay, I want to know from Dr. Josh, what's harder, running at altitude in Boulder or in the swamp humidity from Gainesville?
Swamp humidity in Gainesville.
Really?
Man, yeah. I remember I stayed up there when I graduated in 2012. My senior year, I stayed there a little bit to train before I started chiropractic college in October of that year. And I purposely, so I was following mainly Daniels, and what I know now, it's not all about base miles. Like you shouldn't, like, okay guys, it's the season's over, we're going to take 2 weeks off, now we're just going to run easy miles for the next 2 months. It's not, you have to touch a little bit of everything. But during that time, this is how if whoever's watching and is, grown up in Florida or has been to Gainesville, I used to do my long runs 3 times a week, training in the summer, 1-2 hours by itself, 1-2 hours with like a couple marathon pace in it, and another 2 hours with a fartlek, all at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
So it's like 90 something
Yeah.
degrees with humidity, and it got me in a pretty good shape, because that Mountain Dew Invitational, I beat like half the Gators, and I was running for the store Fit to Run at the time. I think I placed 20th at that environment, 25-55, on a golf course at Rolling Hills. But I think heat and humidity is harder. Even working this, not plugging anything, but working this team prep running camp this past summer in Gunnison, where you're at 7,700 and going up to 9,000. It's dry, but your body adapts kind of to that. But like when you go down, when I went back to Portland for a couple weeks, like I was like, wow, this is humid. It feels a lot harder to,
Now, I mean, people talk about like the adaptations at altitude and how beneficial that can be. Are there any similarities, or is it just harder to run in humidity and there's just no benefit except like you're tougher and you can handle humidity? Or like what are like the analogous, if there are any benefits?
So they call, I'm sure you guys heard this before, they call heat and humidity the poor man's altitude.
Right, yeah.
But when you train in the heat and the humidity, your body's always going to adapt to anything and everything thrown at it. So if you're training in the heat and humidity, you're going to become more efficient at any temperature, right? Versus, at altitude. It can be hot, but it's not like humid, because if it's humid, your sweat can't evaporate off your skin.
Right.
And your body's going to have a hard time trying to control that core temperature to keep you in homeostasis and not, pass out or anything like that. But your body adapts to that. So I know it may sound crazy that I was running at 11 o'clock 3 times a week, but there came a point that like it felt normal. Like I didn't feel like I was dying running at those times and the heat and humidity. So to answer the question.
Yeah. So do you think that people that have been, I mean, whether it's elites or just regular runners too, that are like more in higher altitudes, if they live in Boulder, for example, are they going to be in for a surprise when they get here or when they toe the line on Sunday? Or
I don't think so. They prepare. If you watch some of Gwen Jorgensen's videos or her training plan, even if you can do like 3 to 4 times a week in a sauna, don't try this at home. Get cleared. Educational purposes only. I don't want you going home and standing in a sauna sweat room or whatever for 30 minutes the first time, because like building up to 30 minutes 3 to 4 times a week will give you that benefit. And you get other benefits too, like different hormones spike, like growth hormone and stuff like that. So in theory it could help with recovery and stuff like that. But that's one way to get around the aperture, that's the correct word, for not having humidity at altitude.
Okay, because I've been seeing stuff saying that, like, you know, for heat adaptation, like sitting in like a hot bath for like 30 minutes after your workout can also provide some benefit, that kind of thing too. Is that the same concept that's happening?
Essentially,
Cody Davis says, as a born Florida boy myself, running in humidity genuinely sucks. And James Allward says, just put the treadmill in the sauna.
You could do that too.
I don't think that's a good idea.
At altitude too.
At altitude. How would you get I guess in the sauna you would create the humidity.
And then you would just wear a bunch of garbage bags, like a bunch of high school wrestlers.
Is that something that people still do? Do you know?
I'm thinking about doing it myself, because I was like, how am I going to create heat? You know, especially this time of year, it's going to get cooler.
Well, I mean, did you read Goggins' book where he's like he's wearing like all his clothes, he's got like garbage bags on just so he could sweat it out and make his runs harder? Like, I mean, that was a long time ago. Are people still doing stuff like that? Do you?
High schoolers,
high
school wrestlers.
You think so?
I don't see any like professional athletes, you know, wearing garbage bags and trying to acclimate to heat. I mean, at that point, when you're at that point, even the college programs like D1 program, they have enough money that they can go somewhere to train where they need to train. You know, some people go to Tallahassee to train, you know, and after they spend their stint at altitude, like I don't know if Merber did that when he was pro. Or different training groups. If
you could train like that, would you do altitude first, then humidity, or humidity first, then altitude?
I would do altitude, then humidity.
Why?
Yeah, because this is Jack Daniels type of thing. So like he prefers that you spend so many weeks at altitude, probably around 8 weeks, and then come back to sea level for about a week. So I would like do my summer running camp for 4 to 8 weeks if you can, and then head to Florida in the summer for like a week, and then plan your race probably that weekend somewhere.
That close?
Yeah, that close. Yeah.
Okay.
You probably perform best when you come back from altitude. I know people that live at altitude have the benefit of the doubt, because, you know, people working 9 to 5 jobs and stuff like that, and have families that they can't come. Like I couldn't come to Chicago on what's today? Friday. I couldn't come to Chicago on Monday. To be able to, like, you know, get ready to race on Sunday. I had to, you know, fly in this morning, kind of thing. But I would do altitude first, then humidity, then race. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a couple more. I don't want to keep you here too long because I know you got a run to get to. Although it's raining now.
It's only it's like 10 minutes away, but with traffic, Yeah,
and it's raining, so hopefully you guys can still do that. But question from MC1796. Hey, Josh, any opinions on ring dingers? I don't know what that means.
What's a ring dinger?
I'm not sure. But he says, but actually, what chiropractic problems do you see arising with elite/sub-elite runners?
My job has become pretty monotonous, and I have a theory on different mechanics and stuff like that. But basically, like almost all low back pain, you know, sciatica, your butt's tight, hamstring issues, quad issues. Like if you have pain or tightness, like in your upper front of your hip flexor or your upper quad, it's all because people's butts aren't working, kind of thing.
Their glutes aren't activated?
They're on firing. Yeah, they're on firing.
Okay.
So you got your low back muscles, your glute muscles, and your hammies. Those three are the three primary groups for hip extension because of, you know, sitting all the time. Even if you say, you know, you do body weight stuff, which is not enough, by the way. Body weight stuff.
Okay.
or yoga and stuff like that. It's not enough to actually like turn on and get the coordination of your brain to fire those glutes and stuff like that. So it should be firing first or second between the three. And most of the time when people come in and they're like, you know, hit the gym and stuff, and you watch them do what they do, or they do body weight stuff, or they just do planks, which, I mean, squats are actually probably a better core workout than actually doing core.
Okay.
So, I lost my train of thought.
Why isn't the body weight enough?
So, like, I find that, like, when your body adapts to a certain motion, right, even if you can, all right, so you're doing a bird dog. You're trying to extend the leg. Your brain's going to know that in order to extend the hip, it's going to want to fire primarily probably your low back muscles before the hamstring and the glutes, or not at all.
Okay.
Versus if you do weight and preferably probably single leg exercises, which are probably best for activating glute max, you're probably going to get your brain to be like, hey, oh, this is heavy kind of thing, so let's recruit more muscles to help move this object. Okay. So eventually, like, I used to be very injury prone, knock on wood, until I knew what I know now. And knock on wood, I haven't been hurt for quite some time, probably significantly since January of 2018 or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in a nutshell, people's butts not working, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
The glutes aren't activated.
They're not activated.
Okay.
Yeah. And you hear it all the time, like the one series that Sage Kennedy did. My left glute
is
not working.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The song that he had in the beginning of it,
yeah,
it was like a sad little song at the beginning. I don't know. I want him to bring that one back.
Yeah.
A question, you mentioned like you haven't been injured, and a knock on wood that you haven't. But what do you know? I know you do time, but do you know based on like looking at Strava, what will your mileage peaked at for this block?
Probably 90.
Okay.
Yeah. Ish.
And how many hours on feet is that for you?
It depends, because like I the biggest thing now, like I said, is going super slower.
Right.
And I go by heart rate, recovery zone, lower aerobic. So I don't know. It's lost my train of thought again.
You don't know how many hours that 90 is?
Probably 11.
Okay.
If you're running about 7-minute pace per mile, like it's like 14 hours at 7-minute pace per mile is probably like a 100-mile week. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. On
top, maybe if you had workouts, but obviously a little faster. So like I like kind of look at it that way. But then again, like I try to blot that out of my mind and not become a slave to the watch and obsess with mileage. I can post on social media like, hey guys, look how much mileage I ran, kind of thing. Yeah. Right. So it's just focus, trust the process, don't panic and stuff like that. Yeah.
So now that you're in Boulder, though, with all the power guys,
yeah,
do you have a foot pod?
No, I need to talk to Evan.
Yeah, I saw you've been running with Evan.
Yeah.
Are you guys you're in the same group, or was that just one day that you were with that group? Or tell me more about that.
I think he's still coached by Matt. Okay. But jokingly, he said the other day, last time he was running with us, he's like, Josh, I retired from running. I'm like, do you cycle now? And he's like, yeah. I don't know if he was joking or not, but if you look at his Instagram and his like Strava, he has been cycling a lot. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So he's done with the
But he has been doing workouts with like Gwen and Jordan, out there. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you been in any workouts with Gwen, or does she normally, is she like...
I need to hit her up.
Yeah. I just did, I mean, everyone talks about like how there's basically everyone in Boulder is like an elite athlete or better, and it seems kind of to me like that doesn't make any sense. But then like every time you're like, I watch another video, it's like, oh, look at all these people in Boulder. It's like, oh, it's like 3 different brands and like 4 different coaching groups like in like one video. I'm like, how are these people? It just must be like you go to the coffee shop and it's like, oh, you got like 2 regular people and like an alpine skier Olympian and then like some runners, right?
Yeah, everyone's just super fit out there. It's a very fit town. It's a college town too, obviously. Yeah. That just must be super weird if like you didn't like. It's like if you were not into like endurance sports, and let's say like your work moved you to Boulder, you would have no idea that you're about to move to a place that's full of like Olympians. Yeah, and you also have no idea you're probably going to start cycling. Right. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah.
Do you have a bike?
No. I should get a bike.
I would say so. I mean, like you have access to some great areas to.
Yeah.
I always want to say bike up or like ride bikes up there.
They call that a ride. To ride.
I don't know if they call it cycling. I'm still don't know. Yeah. Like I bought the bike and I like it, but I'm still not familiar enough with the terminology. But I feel like there's a lot up there.
Yeah.
To explore, but like I'm just like thinking about like the regular dude that's just like, what is going on around here? Who are all these people?
Maybe
because like if you look at any like footage of a road, there's usually more runners running at like a very high level than there are cars.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's because of the roads that they're picking. You wouldn't pick a very busy road, but it just seems like this weird, crazy place.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's in the roads, regardless if you're a car or a pedestrian or a runner or a cyclist. Or I even seen like people can get ready for the ski season, like using ski poles and rollerblades and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like running purgatory. It's where all the runners go after college and try to find either relive their career or meet like-minded people. And I mean, they do it for the love of the sport, and there are people that do it for a living out there. But Boulder is a a mecca
Yeah.
for running and endurance sports. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy out there?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done much besides running and stuff like that. So like I don't really know. Like, oh, it's the weekend. What am I gonna do? Let's go hike. You know. I was like, okay, now what? What are we gonna do now? Yeah. I feel like people go to altitude. Like if serious runners, you know, go to altitude, they train at altitude. But like you will rarely find, unless you're doing like the Boulder to the Boulder. Or the one race they have on Labor Day. I forgot what it's, the 42 10K. Like big boulder races or Colorado races. They usually train at altitude and then fly elsewhere every 6 to 8 weeks or whatever to run a peak race.
Okay.
Yeah. So rarely would you find people, runners, I guess that are serious, race in Colorado versus heading to sea level. Because they're going to altitude for the sea level benefit.
Yeah. So it's like a weird like reverse commuter town.
Yeah.
Where like on the weekends people are traveling.
Yeah.
Somewhere else to go race.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. I didn't know that.
And I was going to say off the top of my head, within like 30 minutes, Magnolia Road, they have the Netherlands, and they're like at 8,300 feet. And I think that road is the only road in the country. It's the steepest road that is kept by the county when it snows and stuff like that. It goes from 5,400 to 83. But I mean, you could live if you want. You could live in the Netherland area, higher, live high, train low, and head down to Boulder to do track workouts and road workouts and stuff like that.
As far as like that goes, is there like a big kind of like pissing contest of like, well, I live at 8,400 feet. Boulder's low for me. Like, is there a lot of that goes on over there?
No, but I mean, in terms of altitude, I personally don't think Boulder is high enough. 5,400. I think hot spots would be like Gunnison or Flag once you get up to like 77, 75, above 7,000. Because the oxygen, dissipates exponentially. There's a change in pressure. It's not that it has less oxygen. It's just that the molecules will spread more out. But it becomes exponentially worse, like from like 5 to 7,000. So like, 3,000 is where it starts to have an effect. Like 3,000 to 6,000 is not as much as 6,000 to like 9,000. Because it just, whoops up like that.
But you would just live at that altitude.
Yeah, I would rather live at that altitude.
And then come down to low Boulder.
Yeah, or like...
would you call it like if you lived at 7,000 feet, would you be like, I come down to the low country for training?
I'll hold out my binoculars and like look out there. I'm like, all right.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you run into Serious Runner out there yet?
I ran by Gwen the other day. She was going really hard.
No, I meant, well, yeah. Well, that's cool, too.
Yeah.
But, like, the Serious, are you familiar with
the Serious Runner?
Like,
no, I just
Serious
came across, the last live stream, someone mentioned it in the chat, and I just came across it, his channel, like 2 days ago. Okay. So I haven't yet.
Yeah, okay.
But I was like, hey, that's Boulder. Yeah.
Oh, I think he's in Boston this weekend.
Oh, okay.
As a Serious Runner would be.
Yeah.
In Boston this weekend. Awesome. Seeker Elite says, what's your thoughts on calisthenics for runners, and is plyometrics really only for sprinters? So 2 questions there.
So plyometrics for runners, I believe, have benefit, obviously, after a certain training program to get to the point that you can do. Do you say calisthenics or plyos or both?
He said, what's your thoughts on calisthenics for runners, and is plyometrics only for sprinters?
You may have to reiterate. Calisthenics is like push-ups and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure.
Jumping jacks, pull-ups.
I mean, that would still, obviously, because I mean, we're the legs are in a closed pack position because we're touching the ground versus the upper body's in an open pack position.
Okay.
Because you're up in here, but like the muscles of the upper extremity are not really used as much, obviously, as the lower extremity. So, I mean, you could do push-ups and stuff like that. There's some use to it, but like doing like bicep curls, or let's see, dips would probably be another jumping jacks would be probably more of a form of plyometrics and stuff like that. But in terms of pylos for injury prevention, it helps increase elasticity of tendons and that contract relax response. So like time and make you more efficient regardless, because it will shorten the amount of time it takes for the muscle to contract, lengthen, and then relax. So eccentric to concentric, that time in between. So I believe there is a benefit, especially if you have educational purposes only, Achilles issues and stuff like that, quad tendon issues. Even
for distance runners.
Yeah, even for distance runners. Remember, there are such things as the little things that count. It's just that some of the little things aren't really little or big in a sense. So like maybe a topic for another day, but like stretching doesn't really do much, if at all, static stretching. Or like, believe it or not, icing doesn't really do much, if not at all, for recovery. But like, out of all the little things that you can do, probably hitting the gym is probably number one. Exercises are number one. Functional key exercises, working with someone to help strengthen that posterior chain and those running weak muscles that, you know, because they are weak, they increase load to certain areas. And eventually, if those structures can't handle the load, you develop an injury. Yeah.
Okay. I've been seeing a lot of pro athletes getting into the gym and doing like some sort of mix of like a plyometric exercise, but with like a bar and like a plate on each side. Like, is that, what would that even be considered? Is that just more functional type of exercises? So like it would be like kind of like stepping onto a box and then like driving a knee while you have a whole bunch of weight on. Is that considered like a plyometric, or is that more, I don't even know, like, what's the term for that?
So, like, remember when I meant the law of specificity that I mentioned prior? So the exercise is becoming more specific to the motion, which is running. So the motions that they're doing is more specific to the motion of running, and they're doing it with weight. So therefore, they would probably become more efficient.
Okay.
You know, when they're doing their body weight with the weight. I mean, I've seen, like, you see some 800-meter runners and under do like Olympic type lifts and stuff, but rarely do you see that. I feel like in the distance world. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's do one last question from Frank. Frank Hulier says, "How did the experiment with hot shots go?"
I'm laughing because I'm probably going to try my first experiment tomorrow.
Okay.
I still have two. I haven't tried yet,
but it's literally capsaicin.
It's capsaicin and ginger, but I heard it's really spicy.
Well, it's capsaicin, so like that's like
maybe I shouldn't try it tonight because then I'll feel it tomorrow morning.
Right? So I mean, like, add that and ginger.
Yeah, ginger.
I don't like
and spice
ginger.
And everything nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea is to what? To ward off cramps?
So I was trying to find, like, I guess the small studies. Ward off cramps. So like those compounds overload, like, so when you get a cramp, it's not because, you know, the hot shot is just capsaicin and ginger. It's not because of electrolytes or necessarily fluid. It's just that the nerves are overfiring, and for some reason, if you can overload that firing pattern by like taking, I guess, something that's really hot or something that overloads the nerves, like hot shot, then in theory that's supposed to help diminish that sensation of having a cramp.
Do you get cramps when you run?
I do, a lot actually. And I think I usually get it, I've had from college, same spot, lower right abdomen. I don't know if it's digestive, if it's my diaphragm. I've been working on it for a little bit. Like when I ran that altitude 10K PR, I did so well in Colorado Springs because I didn't have a stitch.
Okay.
But like, I had a stitch when I ran the Butte to Butte 10K in Eugene at the end of August. Happens probably about 70% of the time.
Okay.
It's just something, I don't know.
See, sometimes when I get, what works for me when I get a cramp, which is not that often anymore, so I've been, I guess, lucky, or I'm not working hard enough, probably a little bit of both, but is, that's a big one. I'm normally chatty on a long run or during even a race. Like if there's a pack of runners and like one dude's just like talking the entire time, it's usually me. Yeah. And I think there's something that's different happening with the diaphragm and the breathing that helps me to stop that. So like sometimes when I do get a cramp, I'll kind of breathe a little bit more like intentionally, like as if I was talking. Or sometimes I'll just start talking to myself. Yeah. I don't know if that is what you're talking about with like the diaphragm stuff that you've been working on.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I forget to breathe, and maybe some of you at home do too, is that like you get so in the zone, you're like, I feel great, it's race time, that you're like, oh, I'm not even breathing hard, I'm feeling great. Well, like make sure you are breathing, because okay. You know, because then it's like your diaphragm's, hey, what's going on? You're not like trying to get air in, so we're gonna work harder to,
Is there a lot of chit chat in either workouts or races at the paces that you guys work out and race at?
Like during the workout itself?
During workouts or during races?
Sometimes, because tempo efforts, you can talk in small sentences. Like CIM, in 2019, I started with the bottle. Some people started with the bottle. And it's like everyone in that pack was going for the trial standard. Yeah. So like people had gels and goos and holding bottles. And it's like, anyone want Martin and stuff like that. And it's like a stampede of people going up and down hills. Yeah. Because I'm short and I can't even see. So like I won't even know if I ran up or down hills.
You're just like, are we going uphill, guys?
Yeah.
Is there a downhill coming up?
Yeah. And then like even like you see my YouTube videos, like doing tempo stuff, sometimes I'll sing or point at the camera. Right? It's like it's not fast enough for my relative effort for the shape I'm in to make it feel like that I'm huffing and puffing, because that's VO2 max work. That's stuff you wouldn't be able to talk really. But that kind of builds the confidence that you can talk in small sentences. It makes you know that you're doing the workout right. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's all I got for you today.
Alrighty.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, in real life live stream.
I know this is my first in real life live stream and my first in real life I've done like interviews like running with people, but I'm just holding a GoPro. But like this is the first time I've set up like two microphones.
Yeah.
I messed it up, but I hope it wasn't too bad. But thanks for being the guinea pig.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch it over to the webcam for you guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in for today. Thanks to Dr. Josh for spending time with us, even though he's got a very busy weekend planned. We're going to be getting Emily Heller in soon. Hopefully, she had some flight delays, so hopefully she'll be getting in here. But stay tuned for that. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know more. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys again soon later tonight. And until the next time I see you guys. Thanks. Be safe.